Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Rachel Davison, and today Jane and Emily and I are going to show you how to make homemade granola. So this is my favorite granola recipe. It's the one that I grew up eating as a staple all throughout my childhood. We used to just eat it with milk like cereal. We'd put it on top of our Cheerios or whatever. And I still make it today for my kids. We usually eat it with yogurt and fruit. So as we're heading into the fruit season, pretty soon strawberries are going to be ready, followed by cherries, apricots, peaches, and it goes on and on. Now's the time to make a nice big batch of granola and have it on hand to put on top of all these summer fruits as they come into season. So let's get cooking. Let's start by turning our oven on to 325 so that it can preheat. I'll just do that here before I forget. Now while our oven is heating up, we're going to mix all of our dry ingredients in this glass bowl here. So I have two different kinds of oatmeals that I'm going to use, just regular rolled oats and quick oats. I like to do half and half of each of them. If you prefer one to the other or you only have one on hand, that's totally fine. So we're going to do 2 cups of quick oats. Okay, Jane's going to help me with that. Hold it. Okay, 1, 2, and then we're going to do 2 cups of just regular rolled oats.
So going to be lots of food.
Emily, hold it. Good. So that is the base of our granola. Now we're going to add lots of different nuts and seeds and grains. So we need about 1 1/4 cups of nuts in our granola, and I really like a mixture of peanuts and almonds. You can change that to suit your preference. Growing up, my mom usually just put peanuts in. Now I like to lean heavier on almonds. So we're gonna do half a cup of peanuts. I've got this little nut chopper here, which is handy. Now you're going. So that's half a cup of peanuts. Let's add that to our bowl. Okay, so that's 3/4 of a cup of chopped almonds. Next, we're going to add half a cup of coconut. Okay, half a cup of coconut. We're going to do half a cup of wheat germ. Emily, hold it over the bowl. If you can't eat gluten, just don't add the wheat germ and make sure your oats are gluten-free, and then this is a gluten-free recipe. We're going to add half a cup of pepitas, that's just shelled raw pumpkin seeds. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to add is some flax. Just a little note about flax. I always make sure I buy it whole. But I never add it to recipes whole because then it just goes right through you and there's actually no health benefits in it if you just leave it in there whole. If you grind too much by accident, just pop it in the freezer and try to use it quickly because it does lose its health benefits. So I'm going to put 1/4 cup of flax. To grind it, you just need a little flat blade, so that's the same blade as you'd find on a coffee grinder or something like that. We'll just give it a little grind. And then Emily's going to add that to our bowl of granola. Very good. Good, so that's all our dry ingredients. I'm going to give that a little stir and then set it to the side. That's the idea. And then we're just going to set that to the side and prepare our wet ingredients. For our wet ingredients, we're just going to add some canola oil, honey, and cinnamon. Measure your oil first, and then that way when you measure your honey, it'll just slide out of your measuring cup because it's pre-oiled. If you do your honey first, you're going to have a mess on your hands. So we're going to do half a cup of canola oil. We're going to add 3/4 of a cup of honey. I'm using just a raw, unpasteurized liquid honey. You can get this for a reasonable price at your local bee farmer. We're going to measure up to 3/4 of a cup. There's no refined sugar in this recipe at all. Some granolas have stuff like corn syrup, but we're just going to use honey, and that's going to make it nice and chunky and sticky. 3/4 of a cup. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. So we're going to take this over to the stovetop and we're going to bring it to a boil. So I'm going to turn this on to a medium-high heat and I'm going to let it come to a boil. Be careful not to leave this unattended. When it comes to a boil, it foams up really quickly. You'll see here in a couple minutes. So when it does that, just let the whole thing foam up and then take it off the stove. But if you leave it unattended and it boils over, you have a serious mess on your hands. So now you can see it's just starting to come to a boil. So I'm just going to let it do that until the whole pot is foam, just like that. And then I'm going to turn it off. You can see how quickly that foams up once it starts to go. So just stir it till it's combined. That looks good. We're going to fold that in until it's all combined. We're going to put it on our pan and we're going to let it bake. That makes cleanup a lot easier. It also makes it bake a little bit more evenly. So dump it in the middle. I'm going to spread it evenly over our pan. We're going to bake the granola for about 14 minutes, and then we're going to take it out and give it a little stir, and then put it back in for another 8 to 10 minutes. So let's put this in our preheated oven. It's at 325, and we'll let it bake for about 14 minutes. A lot of people like the granola just plain, but I really enjoy dried fruit, so I always add some to my granola at the end. My favorite combination, or my kids' favorite combination, is dried cranberries and raisins. Today we're going to add some dried apricots because they look very pretty and because I think they're delicious. So we need about a cup of dried fruit. I'm going to do about 1/4 cup of dried apricots and 3/4 cup of dried cranberries. This is something you add at the very end. As soon as it comes out of the oven, you sprinkle it on top and give it just a quick stir. I let my granola cool on the pan until it's completely cooled. I like it when there's big chunks in it because I like to just grab pieces as a snack. I've put dried apples in granola before, which is really good. Dried pears is nice. My sister just told me yesterday that she likes to put in dried rhubarb at this time of year, which I've never thought of doing. 2 more apricots, and then we're going to fill the rest of this up with dried cranberries. Now, if you want to omit that step altogether, you could definitely do that. Okay, and then we'll just leave that until our granola is coming out of the oven. 14 minutes have gone by. Let's check on our granola here, and we're going to give it a stir. So we're just going to stir it, put it back in the oven for another maybe 8 to 10 minutes. We'll start with 8. Very good. Let's put that back in the oven and keep for 8 more minutes. So we put it back in for a couple more minutes, and I think that looks great. So let's take it over here, and if you are adding dried fruit, you want to do that immediately when you take it out of the oven. We're going to give it a quick stir to incorporate the fruit, and then we're just going to let it sit on the pan until it's completely cooled. Just smooth it out and let it cool. And that's how you make homemade granola. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.